The needle went into the child's arm. The boy was 6 years old. He had Down syndrome. He couldn't understand what was happening. The doctor injecting him was Saul Krugman from New York University. He wasn't giving the child medicine. He was deliberately infecting him with hepatitis. The boy's name was never recorded in the official documents. He was just subject number 47. This wasn't a rogue doctor acting alone. This was a systematic program. It ran for 30 years. Over 1,400 children were used as test subjects. All of them had intellectual disabilities. Most couldn't speak. None could consent. Their parents were told it was routine care. That was a lie. The experiments happened at Willowbrook State School on Staten Island. The facility housed 6,000 children in buildings meant for 4,000. Hepatitis spread naturally because of the overcrowding. But Krugman didn't want to study the natural outbreak. He wanted controlled infections. So he created them. He fed children milkshakes mixed with fecal matter containing live hepatitis virus. He injected others with infected blood serum. Then he watched what happened. He documented every symptom, every fever, every case of liver damage. Some children died. The exact number was never publicly disclosed. What happened next would expose the darkest chapter in American medical history. Willowbrook opened in 1947. It was supposed to be a model facility. The state promised cutting-edge care for children with disabilities. That promise died within months. By 1950, the population had doubled beyond capacity. Overcrowding turned the wards into disease incubators. Hepatitis infection rates hit 100% within 6 months of admission. Every single child got infected. The conditions were deliberate neglect. 60 children shared one toilet. Feces covered the floors. Staff worked 16-hour shifts and gave up trying. Parents who visited described rooms filled with naked children sitting in their own waste. Robert F. Kennedy toured the facility in 1965. He called it a snake pit. But the experiments had already been running for 9 years by then. Dr. Saul Krugman arrived in 1955. He was a respected virologist from NYU School of Medicine. He saw the hepatitis outbreak as an opportunity. Not a crisis to solve. An opportunity to exploit. He pitched a study to the New York State Department of Mental Hygiene. The proposal was simple. Since the children would get hepatitis anyway, why not infect them deliberately under controlled conditions? The state approved it. The Armed Forces Epidemiological Board funded it. Krugman set up a special research ward. He called it the Hepatitis Unit. Parents desperate to get their children admitted to Willowbrook were given a choice. Wait on a years-long list for general admission. Or get immediate placement in the Hepatitis Unit. The consent form they signed used careful language. It said children would be given hepatitis antibodies as part of a research study. It never explicitly said their kids would be deliberately infected. Most parents didn't understand the difference. They just wanted their children to have a bed. Krugman later defended this as ethical. He claimed the children would get hepatitis anyway. But documents prove he didn't just observe natural infections. He actively created new ones. He isolated different strains. He tracked mutation rates. This wasn't treatment. It was weaponized medicine. By 1963, Krugman had published 14 papers based on the Willowbrook experiments. His research appeared in the Journal of the American Medical Association, the New England Journal of Medicine, The Lancet. His work helped identify hepatitis A and hepatitis B as separate viruses. That discovery was legitimate science. But the method was monstrous. Internal memos obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests reveal the truth. Krugman wrote to colleagues describing how he refined his infection techniques. Early experiments fed children contaminated food, but the infection rate was inconsistent. So he switched to direct injection of live virus into the bloodstream. The success rate jumped to 97%. He also tested experimental vaccines. Some worked, some didn't. The children who received failed vaccines still got infected. Then they were monitored to see how severe the damage would be. One memo from 1967 describes a trial of gamma globulin. Krugman injected 35 children with a test batch. 11 developed severe hepatitis. 3 developed permanent liver damage. The trial was deemed inconclusive. So he repeated it with a new group. Nobody stopped him. The funding kept flowing. The papers kept getting published. The medical community celebrated his work. But a few people noticed something was wrong. Dr. Stephen Goldby was a British physician who read Krugman's 1967 paper in The Lancet. He wrote a letter to the editor. He called the experiments immoral and compared them to Nazi medical trials. The Lancet published his letter. Krugman responded. He said the experiments were justified because the children would be infected anyway. Goldby fired back. He said that logic would justify shooting a man about to be hanged. The debate went public. Stories like this get buried unless people demand answers. Subscribe so the next investigation finds you before it's too late. By 1970, medical ethicists were asking hard questions. But Krugman had powerful defenders. The New York state government had approved the research. The NIH had funded it. Admitting it was wrong meant admitting institutional failure. So the cover-up began. Documents were reclassified. Consent forms were rewritten retroactively. Parents who complained were told their children received the best available care. Meanwhile, investigative journalist Geraldo Rivera was following a tip. A source inside Willowbrook told him conditions were worse than anyone knew. In 1972, Rivera and a cameraman snuck into the facility. What they filmed would change everything. Rivera's footage aired on January 6, 1972. It showed children locked in cages, lying naked on concrete floors, covered in bruises and bedsores. The public was horrified. The outcry forced a Senate subcommittee investigation. Senator Robert Kennedy led the hearings. Krugman was called to testify. The transcript from March 8, 1972 is chilling. Kennedy asked Krugman directly if he deliberately infected children with hepatitis. Krugman said yes. Kennedy asked if the children could consent. Krugman said no. Kennedy asked if the parents understood their children would be infected. Krugman paused for 11 seconds. Then he said the consent forms were explained verbally. But no recordings or witnesses confirmed that. Kennedy asked how many children had died from the experiments. Krugman said he didn't have exact numbers. His records only tracked symptomatic cases. Children who died were transferred out of the hepatitis unit before death. So they weren't counted in his data. Kennedy asked why. Krugman had no answer. The hearings revealed something even worse. The experiments didn't stop when hepatitis vaccines became available in 1969. Krugman continued infecting children for 3 more years. Why? Because he was testing whether natural infection provided better immunity than vaccination. That research question could have been answered with blood tests on already infected children. But Krugman wanted fresh data. So he kept infecting new subjects. The Senate subcommittee concluded the experiments violated the Nuremberg Code. That's the international standard created after Nazi war crimes trials. The code requires voluntary informed consent. It prohibits experiments that cause unnecessary suffering. Krugman violated both principles. But he was never